Hello everybody, I'm Xavier Ortega. You know, NXT is probably the best thing going on in WWE right now. It's so good that people are now passing it off as WWE's third brand. It's no longer considered developmental. Well, that's not the case, but still. And NXT always has its version of WrestleMania, which is called NXT Takeover. It used to air on Wednesday or Thursday, but now it's being aired before every Big Four pay-per-view, which is Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania. And there's been so many great takeovers, but I think we need to rank all of them, which is why I'm going to rank every NXT takeover from worst to best. At number 19 is NXT Takeover London. Okay, yeah. Nia Jax being in the Women's Championship match with Bayley just a few months after she debuted, it didn't make no sense at all. And we did hear some very snide chants from the crowd towards Baron Corbin. But, yeah, we were introduced to the first match of the Balor-Joe rivalry in NXT. But I feel like it just didn't go well. At number 18, it's NXT Takeover. It did have some great matches, such as Tyler Breeze and Sami Zayn, or Charlotte vs. Natalya. Yeah. But Tyson Kidd, I mean, I got nothing against the guy, but Tyson Kidd, he doesn't fit the NXT Championship image. Neville was hitting his stride as NXT Champion by this time, but I just didn't think this takeover was okay. At number 17, it's NXT Takeover The End. The first steel cage match in NXT history. We were introduced to Andrade Cien Almas and the Authors of Pain on this night, but I just didn't think that was the perfect time to debut them. I mean, a crushing loss for American Alpha. They just lost their titles, and then, although I don't feel like that was kind of cool, it didn't go perfectly as well. I mean, and having Nia Jax versus Asuka was crazy because we knew that Asuka was gonna win. And although the Austin Aries and Shinsuke Nakamura match was good, I feel like this takeover doesn't really fit my favorite. And at number 16, it's NXT Takeover Toronto. Back at it again with the Authors of Pain. They did win the Dusty Rhodes Classic, but Bobby Roode versus Ty Dillinger was amazing in their hometown. And yes, the 2 out of 3 falls match between DIY and the Revival was good. But Mickie James, I got nothing against her, but Mickie James, she needed to go to the main roster by this point. I don't know why she wrestled at NXT. And Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura passing the NXT belts around like Sasha and Charlotte were doing on the main roster by this time. And number 15, it's NXT Takeover Respect. The first ever Dusty Rhodes Classic culminated at this night, with Finn Balor and Samoa Joe winning the first ever Dusty Rhodes Classic. And though we had that 30-minute Iron Man match between Bayley and Sasha, that was good, but Tyler Breeze and Apollo Crews feud in that match was really stupid. And Asuka versus Dana Brooke, we knew Asuka was winning, so what was the point? At number 14, it's NXT Takeover San Antonio. Back at it again with the Authors of Pain, and who vanquished DIY to win the NXT Tag Team titles. We did have that Fatal 4-Way match between Asuka, Nikki Cross, and the iconic duo Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. We were treated to the glorious era when Bobby Roode won the NXT Championship from Shinsuke Nakamura. And I think this takeover really did better than the other ones on this list. And number 13, it's NXT Takeover Unstoppable. The takeover that saw the debut of Samoa Joe in WWE. And it did continue the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens story, which I think is the best story in any promotion. In NXT, in Ring of Honor, in CZW, PWG, WWE, in any promotion, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens is the best story of them all. And we were also treated to probably like one of the best women's matches of all time, Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, with Becky not winning though. And I think what was probably one of the coolest designs of Finn Balor's Demon Paint. And number 12, it's NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2. Now, Brooklyn 2 saw Shinsuke Nakamura finally winning the NXT Championship. We also saw the arrivals of Ember Moon, the return of Hideo Itami, even though he returned weeks before. And we were also treated to one of the first best match between the Revival and DIY. Also, Bayley giving one of her best performances before going to the main roster and getting treated poorly. I think this takeover was good, by the way. At number 11, it's NXT Takeover Rival. The NXT Takeover that saw Kevin Owens, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Sami Zayn. If you don't know what that means, remember back at SummerSlam 2014 when Brock Lesnar pretty much destroyed John Cena with a bunch of suplexes? Well, on this night, Kevin Owens destroyed Sami Zayn with a bunch of power bombs. And this rule of how the title can change hands due to referee stoppage in NXT. I mean, yeah, it's NXT, but you don't see that happen on the main roster. Why does it have to happen on NXT? Anyway, number 10, NXT Takeover Brooklyn 1. The first takeover in Brooklyn. This one really got me interested in NXT. Even though I was already interested before, but this one really made me believe in the promotion. We had Jushin Thunder Liger making his first NXT appearance in the promotion, defeating Tyler Breeze. We had the We had the Vaudevillains recapturing the NXT titles from Blake and Murphy with the help of Blue Pants. Please come back, Blue Pants. We also had Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin, which was an okay match. The arrival of Apollo Crews, and the match of the year, and the so-called match of the year that year with Bayley and Sasha Banks. That match was awesome. And the NXT Takeover and the NXT ladder match, the NXT Championship ladder match between Kevin Owens and Finn Balor. I thought this takeover was amazing. At number 9, it's NXT Takeover Arrival. As the saying goes, you can't beat the original. And this one saw Neville vanquishing Bo Dallas to become the first ever, well, not the first ever, but to win his first NXT Championship. I think that win was a big win for Neville in his career in WWE. Even though the rest of his career in WWE hasn't gone as planned, he needs to come back right away. I'm saying this right now. Neville should return as Braun Strowman's partner for WrestleMania. Number 8, NXT Takeover Orlando. While it did have good now this one had great matches, such as Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura, the Triple Threat Tag Team match, and Andrade Cien Almas versus Aleister Black. How funny is it that 1 year ago, Aleister Black made his debut against Andrade Cien Almas, and at NXT Takeover New Orleans, they're going to battle once again for the NXT, but this time for the NXT Championship. Funny how that goes, huh? At number 7, it's NXT Takeover R Evolution. A night that saw Sami Zayn capturing the NXT Championship from Neville, and sparked the Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens story in WWE. This takeover was the best. At number 6, it's NXT Takeover Chicago. while it did have great matches such as DIY versus the Authors of Pain and Bobby Roode versus Hideo Itami, nothing can compare on this night when that fateful betrayal between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. That really shocked me. At number 5, it's NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3. This one is awesome for 3 matches. It had 3 great matches on the card, which was Sanity versus the Authors of Pain, in my opinion, Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano 1, and Asuka versus Ember Moon. There is one thing about that. Remember how Ember Moon got injured and couldn't wrestle at NXT Takeover Chicago? I thought Brooklyn 3 was going to be her homecoming. She was going to finally regain that belt, but the thing otherwise. But nothing was most of a shocker when we saw the Foley debut of Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era. That was awesome. At number 4, it's NXT Takeover Fatal 4-Way. Perhaps one of the greatest Fatal 4-Way matches of all time featured Neville, Sami Zayn, Tyson Kidd, and Tyler Breeze. These 4 tore the house down at that TakeOver, and I thought that match was really good. At number 3, it's NXT Takeover Philadelphia. The most recent TakeOver, NXT Takeover Philadelphia, was amazing. We saw the Authors of Pain proving that they were ready for main event status. They have been ready for so long. Velveteen Dream kept rising his popularity streak. Ember Moon and Shayna Baszler in a match that told a great story. Aleister Black and Adam Cole in probably one of the best Extreme Rules matches I've ever seen. And of course, so far, the match of the year, Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano 3. A match that gave WWE its first 5-star match since 2011. NXT TakeOver Philadelphia was the best. At number 2, NXT TakeOver Dallas. This TakeOver had the best matches of all time. Austin Aries versus Baron Corbin was good. American Alpha versus The Revival was great. Bayley versus Asuka was amazing. I think Balor versus Joe was great. But the match of the night on that night, Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura. Those 2 really brought the house down at that TakeOver. And finally, at number 1, NXT TakeOver War Games. This War Games deserves to be number 1 because I felt it was the best TakeOver of all time. Lars Sullivan was treated like an absolute monster. The Aleister Black match in Velveteen Dream was awesome. Ember Moon finally winning the NXT Women's Champion. Andrade Cien Almas winning the NXT Championship after everything he's been through throughout the year. And the War Games was fun, bloody chaos. Yes. The War Games match that happened in 20 years featured the Undisputed Era, Sanity, and Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong. That match was awesome. The star of the match was Killian Dane, but overall, it was the Undisputed Era winning the night. What do you think was the best TakeOver of all time? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share, and I will see you all in the next video.